And the digital economy has become the leading industry of a new wave of science and technology revolution. And with the country planning to build a digital China, which coincides with similar plans in many ASEAN member states, we would like to welcome on the floor the director of HKTDC Limited Singapore, Ms. Vivian Chi, for her welcome message.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Vivian from the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, Singapore branch, which oversees the Philippines. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome everyone to this panel on Asia Financial Forum, creating a digital economy bridge between ASEAN and China, together with Digital Filipinas and our HKTDC Manila Consultant Office. To all the speakers and attendees, a warm welcome to everyone for joining today's webinar. And it's my great privilege and honor to meet everybody. Established in, let me share my screen. Yes. So established in 1966, the Hong Kong Trade Development Council is a statutory body to promote, assist, and develop Hong Kong's trade. With 50 offices around the world, including 13 in mainland China, the HKTDC promotes Hong Kong as a two-way global platform for investment and business hub. Among the various world-class events HKTDC co-organizes each year is the annual Asian Financial Forum. AFF, in short, is Asia's premier platform for global leaders in the government, finance, and business sectors to exchange and share ideas, as well as forge business and investment opportunities. The event is also aimed at promoting Hong Kong's advantages as an international financial center, a two-way investment hub, and a one-stop professional services center. Since its inception in 2007, the AFF has gone from strength to strength, even as the pandemic could not hinder individuals on their determination to connect and thrive. In fact, AFF 2022 broke geographical boundaries and gathered the brightest minds via the virtual platform by featuring over 170 distinguished speakers and attracted more than 66,000 viewers. These participants came from over 80 countries and regions. There's also the ever-popular AFF Deal Flow matchmaking session, which helped facilitate over 7,200 meetings for 5,550 companies. Together with Global Investment Zone, which showcases an abundance of investment opportunities from around the world, the deal flow sessions facilitated collaborations between project owners, potential business partners, and investors. Over the years, several distinguished leaders have graced and spoken at AFF. They included the U.S. Financial Reserve System, the former chairman Ben Bernanke, Ms. Janet Yellen, as well as Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group President and Group CEO, Mr. Nobuyuki Hirano. Then there's also the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank President and Chairman, Mr. Jin Li-jun. Milken Institute Chairman, Mr. Michael Milken, China Construction Bank Corporation Chairman and Executive Director, Mr. Tian Guoli, as well as HSBC Group Chairman, Mr. Mike Tucker, and many more. For inbound travelers, flying to Hong Kong has just become more convenient with the relaxation of quarantine measures. All incoming travelers who test negative upon arrival will be given a blue code, and basically they can move freely in Hong Kong, including joining various social activities in restaurants and bars. Therefore, in a few weeks' time, the Asian Financial Forum will make its much anticipated return as one of the first large-scale business networking event in 2023 to welcome delegates from all over the world. It would be the first chance in the new year to connect new business partners and strike deals with investors and project owners face-to-face. A group of influential leaders seen on the attached slide will be invited, and they will be gathering in person to share their insights on the global economic outlook and the pressing business issues in the coming year in 2023. Among the forefront leaders who have been invited include Ms. Valerie Bolson for Amundi, Mr. Takeshi Kunibi from Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group Incorporated, Mr. Robert Smith from Vista Equity Partners, Mr. Mark Tucker from HSBC Holding, as well as Mr. R. Rihad W. from the Indonesian Investment Authority. Then there's other innovative thinkers such as Ms. Rebecca Liao from Saga.xyz, Mr. Jason Ma from Oak3N, and Mr. Jerry Won from Kenatin. Other topics to be covered during AFF include RCEP and GBA opportunities, ESG, green finance, banking, and family office ecosystems. Next, there's also the InnoVenture Ceylon, which is an exhibition-led platform connecting entrepreneurs, investors, stakeholders of worldwide startup communities for matchmaking, pitching, and partnership building. Similar to the main conference part, InnoVenture Ceylon will return in the physical format with a digital extension. Finally, HKTDC Manila office is working closely with Digital Filipinas to form a delegation to Hong Kong to join the Asian Financial Forum January 11 to 12. We hope you can come and meet the other game changers like yourself, network and meet potential investors, and scale up your business. And now I shall pass you the time to other speakers to share more market opportunities, and I look forward to seeing you at AFF 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivian, for that insightful presentation and for instilling excitement to our audience who are watching across the different digital assets of Digital Filipinas and Geyser Maklang. So moving forward, to allow us into the impact of this thrust between ASEAN and China, let's begin again by calling in Ms. Amor Maklang, the convener of Digital Filipinas, Philippine FinTech Festival, and World FinTech Festival Philippines, and also the Executive Director and Trustee of FinTech Philippines Association, and Geyser Maklang's co-founder. Hi, Amor.
Yes, mabuhay, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. If there is one country partnership that Digital Filipinas has really been looking forward to highlighting this year, it is the partnership with the government of Hong Kong. We have two work streams with them. One is with the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, and the other is with Hong Kong Invest. And the entire world, not just the Philippines, is awaiting with excitement as China and Hong Kong are opening up post-COVID, because we are not fully recovered as humanity unless we are all fully recovered together. Many of you are our partners and our conveners in Digital Filipinas, but together in building together a digitally enabled economy globally. Know of our great pride in being both Asia and ASEAN at this point in time. Many of you have heard of our excitement, say, for example, in the digital banking space, where as other regions in North America pride in having 10 digital licenses, 15 in Europe, while we in Asia have 40. And the Philippines specifically and ASEAN is starting to become one of the most important, if not one of the most robust players in the region. Digital Pilipinas is extremely proud to be working and supporting not just Hong Kong, especially the thrust of the Department of Trade and Industry and the Bureau of Investments, who's also partnered with HKTDC in highlighting and showcasing the best and the brightest technology, fintech companies, and businesses in the Philippines to the rest of the world. Just in January and in February, if I may share, we opened the year with no less than the Asian Financial Forum. And we welcome all of the fintechs and the technology players in the Philippines to be showcased. We have proudly nominated 5 fintechs and 1 digital bank, all from the pool of Fintech Philippines Association. So we're all waiting with bated breath as to who amongst our nominated fintechs will actually be showcased for possible funding during the AFF this coming January. We wish them all luck. This coming January, we're also leading, as Digital Pilipinas, a delegation going to Switzerland, focusing on how intensely robust the Philippine technology ecosystem. And from there, we bring the rest of Digital Pilipinas to Israel. But of course, we all say Asia is for Asians. Asia technologies for Asians. We thank many of our pre-event speakers and partners. Many are conveners of Digital Pilipinas, starting with our champion for InsurTech, Mr. Rico Bautista, who will share with us later during the panel, not just the pilot programs for InsurTech, but more importantly, about Takaful and Halal Finance, something we hope to be able to champion in ASEAN, cross-border, in this coming year. We're also very honored to welcome a good friend and partner from Singapore, the Chief Executive Officer of Proxtera and a partner of Digital Pilipinas, Mr. Saurabh, he's gonna kill me for mangling his name, Bhattacharya, yes. And together with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, creating bridges for SMEs who are digitalized to grow more cross-border. Our next speaker is Mr. Noel Bonoan, who has been championing legacy businesses in the Philippines to tech up and digitalize robustly. He is the COO, and Vice Chair of KPMG in the Philippines. Mr. Alan Go, the country head of Alibaba Cloud in the Philippines, is our partner and also our champion for digitalizing our various industries via our 12 strategic hackathons in 2023. One of my mentors and my key partners in the industry, one of the first people I've met in the industry, is Mr. Malikan Kotadia, who's the co-founder and global board chairman of GIFT. He has brought together an entire global ecosystem. And of course, he takes pride, as always, in bringing attention to ASEAN, this being the home base of GIFT. Ms. Kim Lato is one of our outstanding examples of 40 under 40 in a digital economy, specifically in the field of e-commerce. Last but not the least is, of course, our champion for digital assets and blockchain in a digital Pilipinas and across ASEAN, one of our pioneering blockchain champions in the Philippines, Wei, our CEO of coins.ph. And on that note, I would like to welcome all of you to our pre-event webinar. We look forward to seeing you in Hong Kong, where ASEAN will take center stage. Thank you to our friends in HKTDC. A special roundtable has been organized for our partners in ASEAN. And we look forward to see you all during the Asian Financial Forum. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay.
Thank you, Amor, for giving us a peek into the depth and work streams of this collaboration and what Digital Pilipinas has in store for the community. And in further cooperation between China and ASEAN media, enterprises, and think tanks, which injects continuous vitality into the development of the China-ASEAN digital economy, will also pave the way for the high-quality construction of the so-called, quote-unquote, digital Silk Road. To share about the great potential that digital economy can bring to different areas, including smart cities, artificial intelligence, big data, and wealth management, may we call on the Managing Director of Mumu Financial Singapore, Mr. Gavin Chia, for his keynote speech.
Yes, hi, morning everyone. I'm Gavin over here, Managing Director of Mumu Financial Singapore. I mean, it's a very great honor, a great pleasure to be here. I mean, to be sharing a little bit more about how, the digital economy bridge between ASEAN and China can be built and should be built. And of course, over here, I mean, for me, myself, and together with Futu Mumu, I mean, we look forward to sharing even more. I mean, just a brief introduction about maybe in terms of the fintech landscape, I got to say it's in Hong Kong, in Asia Pacific. I mean, if you look at, generally, Asia Pacific is actually emerging as the leading destinations for wealth management and also private banking globally, driven by growing wealth in the region and also increasing high net worth individuals populations and in needs for financial advice. I mean, if you look at generally, in terms of, regulations, the relaxed and pro-investment regulatory environment in markets, such as Singapore and Hong Kong, have been attracting a large amount of capitals from around the world. I mean, this is so true. If I look at statistics over in Singapore, Hong Kong, I think there's a huge emergence of examples of family office. We have been seeing, family offices being set up both in Hong Kong and Singapore. And in terms of the needs and demands would be, I got to say, it's complex. And yet, we are, in terms of from a Mumu standpoint, we are embracing technology to better service them. Coming back, according to KPMG Digital Wealth Management in Asia Pacific 2021, Asia Pacific is home to 15 million high net worth individuals who are looking for highly personalized advisory solutions from technological sound advisors to help plan their family wealth and succession. They demand advanced platforms and features to manage their wealth on their own effectively. At the same time, what we realize is that, this high net worth, as much as they are actually, depending on some advisors, a lot of them, they are actually very pro, technology, where they would prefer platforms to be advanced, where they can look into what they hope to see, like live market data, or even what they bought from a product point of view, it will be reflected live. So I got to say, if you look at this whole past decades, even with pandemic itself, the entire financial service industry in both Hong Kong and Singapore has been gradually embracing digitalized advancements. And today we would like to focus on the invest tech and the tech wealth landscape. If you look at the majority industry players, I'll group them into three different sectors. They are banks, virtual banks, digitalized investment and wealth management platforms like, I got to say, our affiliates, Futu Securities International Hong Kong, who was founded in Hong Kong since 2012, And I got to say, fast forward, Futu Securities International Hong Kong has been in Hong Kong for more than 10 years. So I got to say, after a decade of development, Futu has become one of the leading players, specializing in providing a one-stop digitalized investment and wealth management service in Hong Kong. So I got to say, it's actually a great honor to be here. And for me, myself, I hope to share even more in terms of the forum, in terms of further discussion. And thank you, everybody. And hopefully this will be, in terms of, a great discussion forward.
Thank you so much, Gavin. And it's, of course, a pleasure to have you here. So together with our trailblazing leaders and movement makers in the ecosystem, we will break down how the digital economy has been the ally of both sides in meeting the challenges within and beyond the region, and in ensuring the sustainable growth of the economy amid the continuously evolving international and regional situations. To start the panel discussion, may we introduce our roster of speakers for today. We have the President and CEO of Erica Philippines, and he counts more than 20 years of experience in the insurance industry and is currently leading his company to embrace InsurTech. Let us all welcome on the virtual floor, Mr. Rico Bautista.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you all.
Good morning, sir. And of course, joining the panel is the Chief Executive Officer of Proxtera, the MetaHub platform where B2B platforms and their small medium enterprises intelligently discover wider trade, financing, and digitalization. Let us give another round of warm virtual applause for Mr. Saurav Bhattacharya.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here.
Good morning, Sir Saurav. And up next, we have the Chief Operating Officer and Vice Chairman of KPMG in the Philippines, a global network of professional firms providing audit, tax, and advisory services, and of course, governance. Let us all welcome Mr. Noel Banoan.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Sir Noel. And joining in this panel as well is the Managing Director from Mumu Financial Singapore, who led the growth of their company's footprint in Singapore through its intuitive and tech-driven investment super app that provides its clients and partners with an enhanced and seamless trading experience. Let's give it up for Mr. Gavin Chia back on the floor. Hi, Sir Gavin.
Hi. Hi, Kristen. Glad to be back again.
Of course. And we have Mr. Alan Go, the country manager of Alibaba Cloud Intelligence International, who heads the leading cloud platform provider in Asia, which ranks among the top 3 in the world. Welcome, Mr. Alan Go.
Hello, good morning. Happy to be here. Yes, thank you.
Good morning, good morning. And of course, as part of the panel is a futurist fintech mentor and a professional, and was also hailed as one of the top fintech champions in Singapore last 2018. Let's all welcome on board the co-founder and global board chairman of the Global Impact Fintech or GIFT, Mr. Malikan Kotaja. All right. Again, we have only lady in this panel next to Amor, who is the owner, founder, and CEO of Kim Store, the most successful gadgets and e-commerce store in the country. And she has also been one of the front runners in pushing for more opportunities for women in the tech space, particularly in e-commerce and MSMEs. Let's give it up for Miss Kim Laco.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Kim. Nice to meet you here. And of course, to lead and moderate this discussion and leaders and to fire up the most pressing questions, we have the convener of Digital Pilipinas back again on the virtual floor, Ms. Amor Maclang.
Thank you, Kirsten. This pre-event for Asia Finance Forum could easily be retitled as Show Me the Money Asia, right? And Hong Kong and China has historically, and Asia overall, has really been seen as a hub and a financial center that's rivaling, right? Rivaling London and New York, with emerging hubs, no, not just emerging hubs, but with leading hubs like Hong Kong and Singapore leading the charge. Now, let me get started here. And I'll start off with Rico. So Rico, following what Gavin, our keynote, has talked about, I have a question for you, and it's not going to be an InsurTech. We'll probably follow through an InsurTech later. In the Philippines, when you talk about wealth management, right, many people default to insurance. Can you kind of give us a perspective on how Filipinos, or even in the case of Malaysia, look at insurance as a tool for wealth management? And I'll circle back later to Gavin, because in my meetings with Hong Kong, one of their key priorities this year is actually the promotion of wealth tech, right? And special shout out to one of our conveners in Digital Pilipinas, Cole Financial, because it's such a nascent industry in the Philippines. So Rico, as a veteran in the insurance space, how do Filipinos look at insurance and wealth management?
Yeah, thank you very much, Amor. And, and again, I'm happy to be here in this webinar. I think it's really very important for us to gather together, industry experts so that we can continue to collaborate and exchange ideas. With regard to the question of Amor, how do Filipinos see insurance and wealth? I think, as you all know, with 110 million Filipinos, we have actually one of the lowest penetration rate in the world and even in Asia, because we have only around 2% penetration rate as far as insurance is concerned among Filipinos. 2 weeks ago, I attended an Asean conference among insurance companies and regulators, and it really shows that there are a lot more opportunities for Filipinos, for us to be able to really see insurance as something that is important and something that they should be putting forth as far as their finances and financial planning is concerned. There are many aspects of insurance or even products that they can actually do, because I think here in the Philippines we have what we call life insurance industry and a non-life insurance industry. Fortunately for Etika Philippines, we actually have both licenses for us to be able to offer both lines of products. In the life insurance industry, there are a slew of products that can actually respond to the different financial needs of a person, starting from savings products to protection products to even wealth management products. So, and I guess what one needs to understand is really where are they in terms of their financial position, and look at insurance products as a way to be able to respond to their financial needs. When we talk of non-life products, so definitely these are products that will insure many of our assets and tangible assets at that. We have motor insurance, we have fire insurance, we have travel insurance, and we have different types of insurance that will allow us to, again, protect us from unnecessary and those unexpected events in our lives so that we can do risk management. So really in the Philippines, we still have a lot more room and a lot more opportunities for us to be able to use insurance products in ensuring that we are able to put forth our financial position very well.
I have to temper a bit the technology discussion, this being not a technology forum, but later I'll circle back to you because literally I just bought 2 travel insurance from Etika and the ease. You're one of the great turnaround stories for InsurTech in the region, and I'd like you to share that with the rest of our audience, especially those who are watching on Facebook and our other social media assets. But Gavin, please let me pull you back in.
Sure.
Because I've been speaking with a lot of family funds, not just from Hong Kong, but from Dubai. And, Dubai being seen as a safe haven, right? There's so much political headwinds happening in other parts of the world. And we know that despite those poly crises that are happening, right now, money needs to move. It's like blood. It needs to move. And it seems like Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore seems to be good, safe havens for this money to circulate. But it's not about the appropriateness of Hong Kong or Singapore as a good hub for family funds, but rather, if you look at Southeast Asia, you look at places, for example, like the Philippines and Indonesia. One of the great injustices that I've seen is that those who can afford wealth management products actually do not have access to wealth management products. How do you see technology changing all of this?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Amor. I got to say, this is a very great questions over here. If you look at generally, if you look at Southeast Asia from a technological point of view, even from a Singapore point of view, I got to say, from our business, from Mumu Financial Singapore, even from a trading platform point of view, I got to say, we are a little bit lag from our parent company in Hong Kong, or even from a technological point of view, to bring it a little bit closer. Let's talk about cashless. Let's talk about cashless, and people in Hong Kong, people in China. Especially, I have so many friends in China. They are not using any cash, and you talk about coming back over to wealth management platform. A lot of them, if you look at from a Hong Kong perspective, I got to say, I use the word seamless. I got to borrow the words that you use with ease. And of course, if you talk about injustice in terms from a technological point of view, I got to say is my role together with my colleagues, together with my direct boss, or even the whole company itself, we are looking at, first of all, working with more partners. I got to say is from Mumu, from Futu, which is our parent company, we are very good in terms of from a very technological point of view, from a platform point of view. But you see, we don't manufacture products. We look forward to working with many partners, and that's why I got to say it's great honor to be here. To be meeting everybody, because I got to say even after this forum, will there be ways? Will there be collaborations? Will there be partnerships where we can deliver this technology? I got to say, if you talk about Southeast Asia, it is a little bit different from America, or even in China, where we are talking about a country. In Southeast Asia, we have more than 600 million people, people with different cultures, people with different thinkings, different regulators. I got to say these are some of the pain points that we got to do. But I got to say, bringing back over here, we have brought a lot of convenience to clients both in Hong Kong, in Singapore. Examples from account opening point of view. Anyone can just go online and open a Mumu account, and it will be approved in the next 5 to 30 minutes. You see, from a brokerage perspective, I got to say 15 years ago, 10 years ago, in Singapore, you will need 5 working days. Or I got to say 5 years ago, 5 working days to get an account open. And if you talk about fundings, we work with all the banks here. And, we have worked with the banks. And if you look at in terms of collaborations in Singapore, you can imagine as a form of a spider web, And I got to say, and it's so localized. Because what we want is a platform that is a make in Singapore Mumu version. And so, Amo, hopefully, I really say hopefully, we want to have a make in Philippine Mumu version where, people will embrace, because it took in the culture of that country, the way of people think in terms from a product point of view. And of course, from a platform point of view, it can be multi-products. It doesn't have to be just only wealth management. It can be insurance. It can be equities. It can be futures. Absolutely. It can be mutual funds. So it can be multi-product. So so that's what I'm trying to put it up. And I got to say is we really hope, given that in terms from unlike Futu Hong Kong, where it has been more than 10 years. In terms of Singapore side, we are slightly near to 2 years. But I got to say, just in the 2 years, we have managed to gather high 6-digit number of clients in Singapore. This shows that, we have done something right, and we hope and we want to copy that model to share with more friends and more partners in Southeast Asia countries.
In Southeast Asia, absolutely. ASEAN being the largest fintech in last November, we launched the One ASEAN FinTech movement, where I'm one of the leaders. So happy to bring you guys and soft land you into this region. Now, speaking of showing us the money, if I'm not mistaken, we're joined by Wei, the CEO of Coins.ph. Wei, we've been talking about Show Me the Money Asia, right? Sorry, is Wei in the group?
Yeah, I'm on.
Hi, Wei. How are you?
Hey,
I know
Amor.
you're
Hey,
on
everybody.
holiday. Thank you so much. I think you're skiing somewhere in Japan. Stay safe, but thank you for joining us. How can we not talk about new wealth without having you, right? So Asia is redefining wealth, right? In Indonesia, capital markets have been exceeded by the digital assets market. Hong Kong and China presents a beautiful contradiction on the very same day that Hong Kong actually presented new guidelines on welcoming digital assets. We know that mainland China still has a different take on it. What's your sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing in the digital asset space, namely, blockchain, Web3, are actually, I think, different countries experimenting with different types of regulation. And I think net that's probably a good thing. At least, for example, for coins, we're fully licensed by the BSP, which is the central bank in the Philippines, in terms of as a cryptocurrency exchange, not just as a cryptocurrency exchange, but also as a payment service provider and EMI, as well as a FX and a remittance player. So for us, we're actually we're actually leveraging sort of some of the utilities of blockchain, because I think a lot of people are saying, oh, there's no utility in blockchain. Well, we're actually doing that in actually using tokens to help our remittance business, to actually lower the cost of remittance back into the Philippines, and actually increasing sort of the increasing both the speed and then reducing the cost. And I think that's actually a real use case, I think, of blockchain. That's we're actually seeing real adoption, not just by our users, but actually in businesses that are actually using coins for that. And I think what we hope to do here in the Philippines is actually come up with a lot of what I call proof of concept, and build those into actually successful case studies that we can actually share with our neighbors and with our peers in Southeast Asia, in terms of like, hey, if you guys want to move money back into your country faster, blockchain is actually provides a technology that you can do that with. And I think in terms of where we are vis-a-vis sort of our North Asian neighbors, I think if you look outside of China, if you look at Korea or Japan, they actually have a quite vibrant ecosystem for cryptocurrency and for Web3, not just in terms of the consumer side, in terms of trading of those tokens, but also actually more so on the producer side. What I mean by producer is basically, developers, companies and projects that are actually raising capital, and then building, both in terms of games, decentralized finance platforms, as well as, global other type of projects on top of blockchain. I think with regards to sort of, China and Hong Kong, I think they're just taking a very careful step, given the sensitivity of capital movement in that region. But I do see, a lot of energy, especially coming out of China and in Hong Kong, with regards to Web3. If you look at sort of, my previous employer, I used to be the CFO at Binance. Like 3 of the top, global exchanges in the world all originated out of China, in terms of Binance, OKX, and Huobi. And also, I think, at some point, like 70 or 80% of the global cryptocurrency trading volume went through those exchanges. And those are all, from an origin story perspective, Chinese companies. And same as Hong Kong, in terms of a lot of the top hedge funds, a lot of the top crypto trading funds are based out of Hong Kong originally. I think a lot of those activities have moved to Singapore. But I think what Hong Kong is trying to do here, in terms of, becoming more liberal, becoming more transparent, becoming more with the regulation, I think it's going to try to attract some of those capital and some of those talent back, I think, to the region. I mean, I think for us in Southeast Asia, we have, pretty transparent regulation about what we can and cannot do. And we also have certainty in terms of these regulations have been around for a while, and we expect them to sort of to stay in its substantial form going forward, so we can actually build our business around it. So I think very excited about the space. Going back to what you said, Amor, if you look at Indonesia, there's more in 2021, and there's more in 2022. There are actually more cryptocurrency traders versus equity traders, and that's same case holds in the Philippines. Seeing about 5 to 10 million cryptocurrency traders in 2021 and 2022, to less than 5 million, I think, in terms of stock traders, as a whole. So I think and then if you look at the demographics of both countries, Indonesia and the Philippines, over half of the population in the Philippines are under the age of 30. Similar demographics in Indonesia. And then if you ask young people what excites them, it's going to be Web3. It's going to be digital assets. It's going to be NFTs. So I think got to go where the kids are. So that's what we're building our business around.
Absolutely, because we can't afford to have a different type of financial exclusion where those who are young are excluded from the financial ecosystem. Later, I'll circle back to you because I know you have a very vocal perception about where Asean stands in relation to the rest of the digital assets world. And I'd like to hear that from you. But from one platform to another, I'd like everyone else to hear from my good friend and our partner, Saurav. In one of the more important meetings and planning sessions I've had with you for 2022. Wow, I speak about 2022 like it's no longer 2022. Was when you told me, Amor, why is everyone excited with B2C e-commerce at 4 billion when B2B e-commerce is at 20 billion US dollars, right? And there is no one platform that is agnostic enough to try to bridge all the platforms together. Everyone knows how excited I am about Proxtera, but please do briefly tell them what you do. And more importantly, what you see is the potential of B2B e-commerce, especially in ASEAN.
Yeah, thank you, Amor, for that. I think you missed out the trillion. It's trillions of dollars.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. See?
If it's billions, it would be too
Billion,
small.
forgive me, my friend. Forgive me. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So it's first of all, thank you for having me over here and giving the context on MSMEs. And of course, we have a very successful company from Philippines here, so represented by Kim, the founder, of course. So I hope some of this resonates. You talked about, of course, we started.
We need to get her in Proxtera, Saurav.
Absolutely, but she's probably served by everybody. We are also looking at the underserved class, of course. So I'll come to our background later, but I wanted to step into the conversations that's already happened. Of course, we started with wealth tech. It is indeed interesting for me. Retrospectively, it's obvious, but more crypto traders than equity traders, but it sort of hit me a little bit when I heard it from Wei as well. But these are all the well-heeled population. And if anything has been taught to us in the last 3 years, is that if there's a societal divide, you can't be, even the well-heeled are touched by it, whether it's flooding in different parts of the world, whether it is COVID, we are all touched by it essentially. So we can't leave the MSMEs behind. At the end of the day, they are the lifeblood of every country. They hire the maximum in every country. In terms of economic contribution, it can vary anywhere from 60 to 80%. So they need to be uplifted as well. And from that perspective, we need to look at the inclusivity of the MSMEs in that particular aspect. And picking up on your viewpoint, which is show me the money, I think what we need to do is turn it around, which is show them the money. And over here, them is two populations. One is the MSMEs, so that we can enable them with the financing. In our case, of course, helping with cross-border financing. And two is also the financiers. There is a very big elephant in the room in the world of MSME finance. They don't get financed because they're not profitable in the traditional way. So if the acquisition cost is too high, the lifetime value is too low and unsure, traditional risk capital will move to the area where there's the lowest risk, the highest return. So that is what we are solving for. And essentially all the technology rails and innovation that you talked about are important to be driven in that particular direction. So to close off, we are a company that's been set up by Monetary Authority of Singapore, as Amar mentioned, to help with cross-border trade through the utility of financing. We are still very young compared to a lot of the companies over here, but our ambitions are very large in the next 5 to 10 years vision. But we have to remember the baseline, which is if we don't take the whole society along with us, especially in the context of MSMEs, we will have a very fragile society. And we talk about anti-fragile in your event, Amor, exactly 2 months back. That needs to be considered even from an MSME context largely. Yeah, that would be my thoughts to contribute to this forum, of course.
Yes, thank you. And on that note, thank you for introducing a nice juxtaposition to your B2B platform to one of our outstanding examples of a B2C e-commerce platform. And Kim, as Wei said earlier, you do not leave the young behind, right? And I think you carry the banner for being the youngest person in this panel. Unless anyone cares to contradict that, tell us about the story, the success, and the struggles of being a young entrepreneur in the tech space in Asia.
Okay, hi Amor, hi everyone. So Kimstar is the pioneer of e-commerce in electronics in the Philippines. We started long way back, 16 years ago. Back then, there was not really a structure in e-commerce. We started in a social media platform called Multiply. That was way back before Facebook. At that time, logistics, payment systems are not really that mature enough. We don't even have a like the cashless payment. From GCash, from Maya, it's really Jurassic days. Then,
but we had Dragon Pay. Shout out to the oldest fintech in the Philippines.
And then, like 2013, when Marketplace came in, Dragon Pay, Mr. Dick Chang evangelized the way payment should been doing in the Philippines. E-commerce had turned around. It became more promising, and because of the marketplace, more MSME and SME were given a chance to really grow in the e-commerce space. I think moving forward, because of the pandemic, it really accelerated the e-commerce space. Right now, people are given an equal chance to sell in the tech space. Like us, we've been in the industry for so long, and because of so many disruptions, such as Marketplace, we were able to distribute our retail products in marketplaces, tapping more market reach. Second is, one of the things Kimstar has been known for is because of its quality and service, quality products that we offer in convenience, such as not only mobile phones, laptops, tablets, we sell everything online. And because of these technologies such as cash on delivery, wireless payments such as cashless payments, and most especially the BNPL. I think during the pandemic, the BNPL really made a very large role to play in the e-commerce scene. I've seen a lot of customers who really had we really had a higher average selling purchases from our customers, because they were able to upgrade their phones not only for a 10,000 peso value. They were able to get their phones from a 20,000 to 30,000. From their laptops, they can only afford 30,000, but because of the BNPL options, we had the right formula and boosted more sales and empowered rapid growth in the e-commerce. So with Kimstar, for Filipinos, our aim in Kim Store is to really provide the lifestyle that Filipinos desire. We can safely say that our counterparts in our neighboring countries have similar goals and motivations, right? Especially in e-commerce. To achieve that goal for our respective markets, we all have to look at the trends and data. And the trends and data say that BNPL is a part of achieving that shared mission by supplementing the buying power, especially of the middle class and the masses. We've seen this proven in consumer electronics and also in even makeups and cosmetics. As low as 2,000 pesos, you can already buy it through BNPL. Gadgets and electronics are a big part of our lives now, more than ever, and we want them to get more out of their lives. That's why we encourage customers to take advantage of the BNPL options. I must say, as a platform operator in the Philippines, it's one of the disruptors during the pandemic, and it really boosted our sales. Not only for their lifestyle needs, but they really had it really helped consumers to really get or optimize the technology that they need to pursue probably their personal creative pursuits. And I think to make a final point, when we talk about the Asian digital economy, we are talking about an environment and a population that has a high possibility of sharing and booming vigorous future.
Thank you so much, Kim. Now, I'd like to hear from Noel as to why the Philippines, given the fact that KPMG has been very successful in soft landing and supporting many of the successful legacy businesses who are going digital, and also many of the technology companies who are adopting things like governance and ESG. So you see it from both sides, Noel. So why the Philippines? We're making a plea to the rest of the world, to Asia primarily. Why make the Philippines their hub?
Well, I think critically, we've seen how the pandemic has changed the way people think. But so I put it down to a number of things. First is that you have a very young workforce and a very educated workforce. So you're seeing a lot of professionals, particularly in finance. In the Philippines, there are a lot of multinational companies locate their financial operations here, their backroom operations. So this necessitates a rather young workforce that speaks the finance language. I have a firm which is essentially 1,600 people at different times of the year. All of them are financially literate, and the average age is 26 to 30. And this is because of the competitiveness for their talent. These kids are actually making a lot more than what my generation would have made years back. So this essentially opens up a whole different marketplace, a whole different market for companies to come in. It's so as I said, it's very educated, not just in terms of the English language, but also in terms of financial literacy. And a lot of them are very savvy now. The way they're able to make decisions around, the way kids are able to make decisions around their financial choices. And you've seen this during the pandemic. The pandemic forced everyone to make difficult choices. And I've seen the way these kids are able to react and make sure that their financial circumstances react the same way too. 30% to 40%, for example, of our workforce works out in the provinces, in some very tiny, some of them in very tiny local governments. And this has certainly changed the way these kids, this will definitely influence their environment. These kids bring new knowledge, bring new skills to the places that they live in. And I can see that these places are going to be sophisticated in the future, you know, local governments that we don't think about. You know? So I'm in KPMG, we're making long-term bets on investing not just in Manila. I mean, I think it's overinvested, but investing in the environments of Metro Manila, which is outside the suburban areas, but even further afield. No? So that's why I think that I'm very bullish on the bets we've been placing, and we've seen as well a lot of our clients making the same bets. So I think we're on the right track with making that plea. And you know, you have the smart money is on. I think the smart money coming from abroad is basically making the same bets as we are. So I won't say I'm a financial genius, and I'm not an original thinker. I'm just I'm just looking at where the smart money is going, right?
Yes, so we follow the money. Thank you, Noel, for being our champion in Digital Filipinas. We've been going around the rest of the world preaching and saying why Asia and the ASEAN and the Philippines is the next best thing. Later, I cannot wait to hear from my mentor and my friend Malik to do a wrap up as to what he's seen in terms of trends. But before we do that, Alan, my friend, working with you in Alibaba has really shown us and has really crystallized our commitment in Digital Filipinas, which is Asian technologies for Asia and for the Philippines. What do you see? Especially in terms of cloud adoption, okay? How else can we accelerate the digital transformation of the Philippines with increased cloud adoption, not just in the fintech space, but overall?
Yeah, hello, Amo, and also everyone. As you know, actually, based on this question, we need just like to figure out what is the why there is Alibaba Cloud, right? Because actually Alibaba Group, just like in the past more than 20 years, got a very rapid just like development, and also the digital business growth, not only in the e-commerce and also the offline, just like shopping ecosystem, but also the online, just like, the digital payments, including the Alipay and also other fintech business, and also other digital business, just like got a rapid business growth also. So in the past few years, especially in the past 10 years, Alibaba Cloud as the technology backbone to the Alibaba Group, we just like use our technology and also our cloud infrastructure, and also even some data analytics, and also blockchain, and also even some other technology to accelerate and also to support the full Alibaba Group's digital business around the world. Yeah, so what I mean, just like we already see a very rapid adoption about the cloud technology, and also even some data analytics technology in the Philippines, and also especially in the past 2 or 3 years, based on the no matter the fintech, e-commerce, retail, and also other digital economies, the involvement, and also some other factors played a positive impact to the market. So based on the digital business growth and also acceleration in the Philippines, just like correspondingly, Alibaba Cloud and also this kind of the cloud technology also gets the rapid just like adoption in the Philippine market. Yeah, but no matter how this kind of the cloud technology is the enabler for most of the digital business. So based on this kind of the cloud technology, you can keep your data online just like 24 hours, and also you can get more secure just like cloud environment to protect your data to protect your users' data, to protect your systems, but also with this kind of the cloud technologies and also some platform services on the cloud platform, you can also just like use these kind of the technologies to support most of the industry, such as just like one typical industry. So in this kind of the fintech industry, no matter in the service level, so in the business service level, such as KYC, such as the anti-money laundry, this kind of the services, and also the risk control, anti-fraud, this kind of the technology is based on the business level, but based on the no matter the regulators, but also from the compliance level, this kind of the technology always play a very critical roles to the fintech industry. Besides that, many fintech companies also need to, mapping their users' behavior, and also to mapping the users and also the marketers, the insights in this kind of the market, because there are so many users. You need to really use this kind of the users' behavior and also the users, the users' insight to upgrade or get your system's involvement always. Besides that, also you need to, you need to have a sustainable and also the trusted, this kind of the deployment and also the infrastructure partners. Yeah, no matter how, I think, from the each kind of the cloud vendors already spend a lot of energies and also the resources to create a trusted and also the fully compliance, the services for the market. So that's why I think, based on your question still, the cloud adoption is mainly just like, following on the digital business, just like, rapid growth in the market. Amo, yeah, thank you.
You know what, my friend Alan was too humble to say. If you listen to what he said in between, because many of the most important digital and financial services are on the Alibaba Cloud, namely and primarily our first ever unicorn GCash, also one of our conveners in Digital Pilipinas. He's basically saying, if you're an Alibaba Cloud and running on the Alibaba tech stack, he can potentially make you the next Philippine unicorn. Is that right, Alan?
Yes. Yes. We do have a lot of benchmark, the corporations in the Philippines from the different industries, especially from the fintech industry, GCash and also some other benchmark, this kind of the fintech clients already had a very close partnership with Alibaba and also Alibaba Cloud. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Malik, my mentor, one of the first people I ever met in the industry. And to see that the scope of your advocacy has not just expanded to ASEAN, but has actually gone global. We're literally, many of us are your followers and supporters in GIFT. My question to you is twofold, but before you answer the question is maybe you can share with them what GIFT does as the largest global think tank of fintech advocates, where I'm also very, very honored to serve. But more importantly, I'd like you to kind of see from where you sit, which is from a global perspective, how you see the various markets evolving and why you see ASEAN to be distinctive from all the other markets that you've been supporting. Malik?
Thank you, Amor, for your kind words. I'll start with what GIFT is, what it does, what our vision and mission is very briefly. So GIFT is now one of the largest, most diverse and most inclusive fintech nonprofit forums globally. We have a footprint across 70 countries and every continent of the world. And it's a by invite only forum. So, fintech thought leaders, people from academia, people from central banks, governments, regulators, multilateral agencies like ADB, IMF, World Bank, etc. Leaders in the fintech, blockchain, AI, digital domain are part of this forum. And while we are a global forum and while we work with the entire spectrum of stakeholders in the fintech and blockchain ecosystem, we aren't in that classical advocacy sense advocating for any particular set of stakeholders, but we see ourselves more as a platform in which we bring together, or at least we endeavor to bring together all these stakeholders for an honest, incisive, in-depth, and meaningful dialogue and outcomes. Like one of the things we've been discussing a lot this year is the crypto winter, what is happening in the fintech industry in terms of funding, etc. And because we have an honest and objective, unbiased set of perspectives, we are invited by central banks, by governments all over the world to work with them, to assist them. In fact, Invest HK is also talking to us, and we were also one of the ecosystem partners at the Singapore FinTech Festival. Money 2020 is talking to us, and many central banks and governments. We just finished hosting a global panel for the Central Bank of Anguilla. So one of the things which I also wanted to highlight is, I'm sure some of you don't even know where Anguilla is. It's one of the Caribbean islands. We are not just working with the large hubs like Singapore or Hong Kong or the UAE or London, which of course we work very closely with them, or Berlin or Amsterdam, but we also support a lot of developing and emerging ecosystems, right from these small islands in the Caribbean to the Pacific, to the developing countries in the MENA region, to South Asia, and of course our own ASEAN, Southeast Asia. And I'm glad to share that Amor is our chairperson for the ASEAN chapter, and she has taken some excellent initiatives, including this One ASEAN initiative. So we are very committed to ASEAN because, as she mentioned, it is our home base. We are incorporated in Singapore. But I did want to leave everybody with this message that we are committed to working with the entire ecosystem and supporting the entire ecosystem, including and especially in the developing countries, because I don't think the Hong Kongs and the Singapores and the Dubais and Londons and Berlins need as much help or assistance, whether it's the private sector or the central banks. But like we are, and this is still in discussion, but we've been invited by one of the central banks in the Central Asian region to be part of their advisory board for their CBDC project. So we've done quite a bit of work, and we continue to do quite a bit of work with various policymakers. And Amor, of course, is a key leader in our exco. Now, having spoken about GIFT, let me share my perspectives very quickly on ASEAN. And I'll also put on my educator hat. I'm also a professor of fintech at some university. So I'll try and speak in terms of something which can be taken away in terms of frameworks. The first thing I think which struck me, and I'm sure most of my fellow panelists here would agree, is that while 2022 has been an extremely difficult year for fintechs, for the technology industry per se, for the finance industry, and perhaps harshest for the crypto industry, in my view, ASEAN has been more robust than other regions. Of course, no region has been unspared, but relatively speaking, what has happened and the strength of the industry that I see here is significantly more grounded as compared to other regions. Why? I think we've heard from all our other experts here, so I'll just try and distill it. I don't really need to go into details. I call it the A, B, C, D, E of what's happening in this region and why it continues to show relative strength. When it comes to A, I say it's ambient finance. To put it very simply, it's the idea of super apps that we've seen in the region. Of course, China was a pioneer, and now we've seen it in countries like Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia with Gojek and Grab, etc. What started as ride-hailing or food delivery companies have become financial supermarkets as well. So the idea of banking everywhere or finance everywhere, bank somewhere, which is what I define as ambient finance, the A, is something where, in my view, ASEAN is way ahead of even the more advanced, the so-called advanced markets like Europe or, certainly well ahead of the North Americas. So that's one. B, blockchain. Again, I think what ASEAN has demonstrated is the fact that, and we heard this from Wei as well, it's not just about crypto trading or speculation, but innovative models like play-to-earn gaming. We've heard about Axie Infinity ad nauseum, and I know that it's a very challenging time. It's not fashionable to talk about it. But the fact that there have been innovations in this space, as well as the fact that there is tangible use, or at least honest experiments to use blockchain and harness its true power for removing friction and cross-border remittances, which really impacts the lowest hubs of society, because we know it's the OFWs or the Indonesian domestic workers in Singapore and Hong Kong and elsewhere who send money home, who are most hit by the inefficiencies in the remittance system. So that's where I think the more meaningful use cases of blockchain are also seen in ASEAN. This is not as much of a burning problem in the developed world, but we certainly see it, whether it is Vietnam or Indonesia or Philippines or Myanmar or Cambodia. This has a tangible impact, and for the lower strata of society, something that Saurav also mentioned. In terms of C, I would say it's cross-border, and it has been terrific what we've seen in terms of cross-border initiatives. In Proxtera is, of course, one of the examples. What we have seen in this region, pioneered jointly by the central banks as well as BIS. So we saw this MCBDC bridge. I don't know how many of you are familiar, but it's the multi-CBDC bridge. So it's not just CBDCs, but connecting CBDC projects of various countries and bringing it to life. That again is something where the central banks, BIS, and some commercial banks have, kind of come together and collaborated to solve very tangible real-world problems of cross-border payments, removing friction, and I call it, faster, frictionless, premium, and in some cases, fun, the 4 Fs. So we are trying to remove costs, we are trying to remove friction in this whole thing. So cross-border, and there are many such projects. I mean, if you Google it, you'll find the MCBDC bridge is, of course, a classic example. And there have been other bilateral things as well, which I'm not going into, but this is really a multilateral cross-border arrangement. And very soon we hope to see a time when, travelers from Philippines to Singapore, or perhaps even Hong Kong and vice versa, will be able to use their home credit cards, bank accounts, even QR codes. So we are talking about common QR code standards in the region. That's another example of cross-border interoperability. So that's the C. D is digital banking or virtual banking or neobanks, whatever catches your fancy, whatever you like to call it. And I think Amor mentioned some statistics early on. In our region, not only do we have many more licenses than the more advanced regions of Europe or North America, but we have seen, I think we are ahead of them in terms of the learning journey as well. For example, we've seen Hong Kong as being one of the first in terms of issuing these digital banking licenses. And now we've also seen 2022 as being an extremely tough year economically and for these banks. So the whole journey of moving from launch to scale up to acquiring customers to managing costs, and now finally talking about revenue monetization and profitability, we are well ahead of the curve. So whether it goes this way or this way, ASEAN has gone ahead in terms of the learning journey as compared to its other so-called advanced peers. And I think the E, which really binds all of it together, is the ecosystem. This is a classic example, a summit like this, of bringing stakeholders together from different countries, different parts of the ecosystem. What we heard sort of talk about Proxtera, what the ecosystem building is doing in terms of supporting MSMEs, which unfortunately somehow get left behind when it comes to financing them, because the traditional world of finance, and I spent 20 years at global banks, including Citibank, so I know it's not out of bad intentions, but the economics don't work for large banks to fund these small MSMEs. Whereas with these new kind of fintech models, MSME financing has become much more operationally viable because OPEX and CAPEX have reduced. So if you take these A, B, C, D, E collectively, I think ASEAN is in a significantly more robust place, not just in terms of navigating 2022, or we are all talking about a recession in 2023, but structurally, I think the next 10 years will see ASEAN as being the next frontier of fintech and blockchain. If the 2010s were the story of China, and the latter part of that decade was the story of India, I believe the 2020s will be the story of ASEAN. Thank you, Amor.
Thank you so much. And on that note, I'm just going to ask everyone for one quick trend, 60 seconds from your specific industry, and then we close off this amazing panel. We will see you all in Hong Kong. But Kirsten, go through each of our thought leaders for their 60-second insight into their industry. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Amor. So let me start with Miss Vivienne Chi. Please do share with us your 60-second elevator pitch about the insights and innovation trends that you would like to share to the community.
Well, we hope to see more innovators from the Philippines, from all over ASEAN, to congregate back in Asia Financial Forum to share their latest innovations in Hong Kong at Asia Financial Forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivian. And of course, we are looking forward to join you there in Hong Kong on January 11 to 12. Let's go with Miss Kim Lato. Go ahead, Kim.
More e-commerce champion, especially from different sectors, MSME and SMME. Definitely, there would be more adaptation of traditional businesses going e-commerce, and more people will really try doing business in the e-commerce space.
Thank you so much, Kim, and for your inspiring story as always to tech up the e-commerce space. Now may me go on to Mr. Wei Zhao. Hi, any thoughts to share? Let's go.
Hey everybody, now I think 2022 has turned out to be an extremely challenging year for crypto blockchain, and I think but hopefully we found bottom, and I think now 2023 is a year to build. I think a lot of the innovation that we saw in 2020, 2021 came out of the 2018 and 2019 bear market, and I think as we go through sort of 2022 and heading into 2023, at Coins we look forward to build real use cases of blockchain. Whether it's in remittance, whether it's in gaming, whether it's in DeFi, and we hope to bring that to our users, not just to the Philippines, but across Southeast Asia as well.
All right, thank you, Wei. And of course, we are looking forward on how Coins will be more progressively proactive in the tech space. Now, on to the insurtech landscape. May we call on Mr. Rico Bautista.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kirsten. I believe that ASEAN, Hong Kong, China, and the entire Asia really is the part of the world wherein it is most exciting, whether it is in the area of technology, finance, even insurance. So we believe that growth will be coming from this part of the world. And as we grow, I think there are two things that we need to understand. One is really building key partnerships and collaboration. And I think it's important, just like what we're doing now in this webinar, we're able to really build partnerships and collaborations among countries and among companies. Second is really putting customers at the forefront of what we're doing, because at the end of the day, it's all about our customers and what needs that they have and what we can actually solve as far as the needs of our customers are concerned. That's it.
Thank you so much, Rico. And as agreed, I think Mr. Gavin is very well in relation to what you shared. So the floor is yours, Mr. Gavin.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, Kirsten. Yes, I got to say, we really hope to be the bridge. I mean, from a technological point of view, from an economy point of view, I mean, between ASEAN and China or even Hong Kong, I mean, bridge to all the Southeast Asia countries. I mean, on our side, I got to say, as previously shared, a lot of emphasis on partnership, a lot of emphasis on, I mean, technology, a lot of emphasis on user experience. I mean, it doesn't have to be only a B2B, but how about a B2B to C model, a B2 or even a 2C model, which is directly to the retail. So yes, I mean, 2023, we hope to contribute more, not only in Singapore, but over in Southeast Asia countries. And surely any technologies that we deem as in terms of prioritize. I mean, we prioritize, and we hope to bring more good technology to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gavin. And of course, while we do really want to show our clients that they are the front runners of our shows in our respective communities, of course, it wouldn't happen without cross-border collaborations. So take it away, Malik.
So I've already spoken about that. I won't repeat that. But if you had to ask me that one big thing, my view is that fintech is probably facing its toughest challenge as an industry. It was born after the 2008-2009 global financial crisis, and banking has never been the same after that. So this is the first time in about 13, 14 years that the fintech industry is facing such a structural challenge and a confluence of headwinds from peak interest rates to drawing funding to a challenge and pressure on profitability, and all of these factors coming together, credit challenges, etc. We've seen this happen in crypto, but crypto is far more volatile. But broadly, as an industry, fintech is facing its moment of truth, if I were to say so. And like what happened after the dot-com boom and bust and what happened after the 2008-9 global financial crisis, those who survive this and those who are able to successfully navigate, put their head down and build, as Wei said, will emerge stronger. But we will see many fall by the wayside as well. That's my own, if I may say, crystal ball gazing.
Thank you so much, Malik. Insightful buy-ins as always. And of course, from the side of Cloud Intelligence. Hi, Alan.
Hey, hello.
Yes. So please allow us to ask you what is your 60-second elevator pitch on what are the future developments and innovation trends coming from your side of the spectrum.
Yeah, actually for the Philippines and also in the Asia Pacific part, from my point, Alibaba Cloud and also Alibaba Group, we're gonna just like to place more investment in this kind of the area. And also to build our, more trusted and also consistent, a cloud technology and also services in the market. Besides that, Alibaba Cloud also, in this year, September, Alibaba Cloud, we also launched a partner program with with $1 billion, just like USD dollar, this kind of the investment. Alibaba Cloud, we're going to collaborate with the local partners together to create more faster and also the supportive programs for the local market. Also, besides that, working together with our local partners, Alibaba Cloud also focusing on to create some more programs with the local, just like the digital talents, just like empowerment programs. Because as we know that no matter what kind of the industries or what kind of the, just like the digital economies, the talents and also the talents, just like the digital mindset, are always very important, and also they play important role in the market. So talent empowerment and also these kind of programs are also very important for us. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Alan, and definitely we'll look forward to Alibaba's programs. And of course, governing us all from the side of governance and KPMG is Mr. Noel Bonoan. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so you've seen how demographic changes have been happening in the Philippines. A lot of young people are moving back to the provinces, and this will change the way local government, political leaders, and chief executives will think. There will be a lot of transformation around digital at the government level, particularly in the local government unit level. Already, we've seen a lot of local governments look to digital, particularly to raise funds for their own operations and to make life better for their constituents. So we're very bullish on this. I think there's a lot of everyone here on this call can look forward to opening up other markets in the local government sector. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Noel. And as agreed, of course, this was a very well-packed discussion. Thank you so much to all of our partners, speakers, and to all of our audience across the different social media assets of Digital Filipinas. But if you could please kindly request for Mr. Allen and Mr. Wade to join our speakers again for a quick photo op. Thank you so much. Because it's picture or it didn't happen. Wade, are you still here with us? All right, there you go. Vince, please count us down.
Okay, everyone. Smile in 3, 2, 1. Another one in 3, 2, 1. Smile. Thank you.
Awesome. So once again, thank you so much to all of our audience and of course our team lined up of speakers. And as much as we want to continue with the topics, this is only a prelude and we would like to keep the excitement going and discussion steering at the Asian Financial Forum 2023 from January 11 to 12 in Hong Kong. Together, let us shape Asia's digital economy. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Thank you so much, Alec. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Sir Gavin, Miss Vivienne, and
Thank you, Kristen. Bye-bye.
Holidays, guys.